So guys, this is a very short story of the man known as Nzeogwu Kaduna, an Igbo man who was very patriotic about one Nigeria, wanted Nigeria to be united, wanted everybody to be carried along. But guess what? When the coup happened and they felt he was part and parcel of the coup, they decided to jail him. And in the course of him staying in jail, the Biafran war broke, which also generated from that coup, the aftermath of the coup. Now, Nzeogwu was released from prison and he decided to fight alongside the Igbos in the Biafran war. It is being said that when they discovered he was fighting for the Biafrans, he was arrested and they pied him. Some people say it was by ambush, that they ambushed him and his men and pied him. A whole lot of story. But guess what? This man initially wanted Nigeria to stay united, wanted things to work in this country. Anyway, let me allow you to take a look at this short story. Take a look.
In recent developments from former dictator and former president of Nigeria, retired General Ibrahim Babangida, admitted in his memoir that the 1966 coup was not an Igbo coup. The coup, through propaganda, was billed, leading to the mass slaughter of Igbos in a pogrom that shocked the world. While they fled the slaughter in trains, the trains were stopped and pregnant women were slaughtered. This led to the Igbos returning to the southeast and declaring independence from Nigeria, and then ensued a 3-year civil war, which ended in 1970 in the defeat of the Igbo nation. Over 3 million Igbos died. After the Igbos surrendered, each Igbo depositor was given £20 in exchange for their Biafran currency. Today, well-meaning and peace-loving Nigerians advocate for the forgiveness of Igbos so that we can progress in unity, which is ironic for a nation that should be seeking forgiveness from the Igbos. All this from propaganda-driven hatred that tore apart the fabric of a juvenile nation. It is clear that national policies marginalize the Igbos and Southeast Nigeria. Infrastructure development has been systematically withheld. No infrastructure for ports and roads in the Southeast. Yet, billions are spent on other parts of the nation with borrowed funds backed by the federal government. We should set up a war museum that tells the story so that history will not repeat itself.
In the early hours of January 15, 1966, a group of young Nigerian soldiers staged a coup that would change the course of the nation's history. At the forefront was Major Kaduna Nzeogwu, a man whose ideals, ambitions, and actions remain a subject of debate to this day. Nzeogwu was born on February 26, 1937, in Kaduna, northern Nigeria, to Igbo parents from Okpanam, present-day Delta State. His upbringing in a multicultural environment shaped his worldview and his deep sense of Nigeria's unity. Nzeogwu's military training took him to the prestigious Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, England, where he honed his skills and developed a strong sense of discipline and patriotism. By 1966, Nigeria was a young nation grappling with political instability, corruption, and ethnic tensions. Nzeogwu and his fellow officers saw themselves as saviors determined to cleanse the country of its ills. In his famous radio broadcast announcing the coup, Nzeogwu says our enemies are the political profiteers, the swindlers, the men in high and low places that seek bribes and demand 10%.
Our enemies are the political profiteers, the swindlers, the men in high and low places that seek bribes and demand 10%, those that seek to keep the country divided permanently so that they can remain in office as ministers or VIPs at least, the tribalists, the nepotists, those that make the country look big for nothing before international circus, those that have corrupted our society and put the Nigerian political calendar back by their words and deeds. Like good soldiers, we are not promising anything miraculous or spectacular, but what we do promise every law-abiding citizen is freedom from fear and all forms of oppression, freedom from general inefficiency, and freedom to live and strive in every field of human endeavor, both nationally and internationally. We promise you that you will no more be ashamed to say that you are a Nigerian. I leave you with a message of good wishes and ask for your support at all times, so that our land, watered by the Niger and Benue, between the sandy wastes and the Gulf of Guinea, washed in salt by the mighty Atlantic, shall not detract Nigeria from gaining sway in any great aspect of international endeavor. I wish you all good luck, and I hope you will cooperate with the fullest in this job which we have set for ourselves of establishing a prosperous nation and achieving solidarity.
The coup, though initially successful in the north, ultimately failed to achieve its nationwide objectives. Key political figures, including Premier of the Northern Region, Ahmadu Bello, and Premier of the Western Region, Ladoke Akintola, were assassinated. The Prime Minister of Nigeria, Tafawa Balewa, was killed in the coup. Some have said that Nzeogwu's actions were driven by a desire for a united Nigeria, free from corruption and tribalism. However, his methods and the coup's fallout remain controversial. Some saw him as a hero who dared to challenge a corrupt system, while others viewed him as a traitor whose actions led to a chain of events that plunged Nigeria into a civil war. Following the coup, Nzeogwu was imprisoned but later released to fight on the side of Biafra during the Nigerian Civil War. His commitment to the Biafran cause, however, was short-lived. Did Nzeogwu fight for Biafra? Nzeogwu had his own mission. That is where referring to books comes in. If you look at this work of biographical history, Obasanjo tells the story of Nzeogwu. It is one of the classics on Nzeogwu. In fact, it is the most comprehensive work on Nzeogwu written by Obasanjo, an officer that knew him closely. It is not from this book that I intend to read on this edition of State Affairs. The book I want to read from is this book, The Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War, The Aftermath, written by Alexander Madiebo. I want to read from this book. Reading is key to unlocking the mind's potential. It bridges the past, present, and future, empowering us with knowledge, igniting creativity, and fostering understanding. Every page turned is a step towards growth. So let's grow in the history of Kaduna Nzeogwu. Let's read from Madiebo's book. Who is Madiebo? Madiebo was the ground officer commanding of the Biafran army during the war. To state it clearly, after Ojukwu as the head of state of Biafra, The next powerful figure was General Alexander Madiebo. After the war and after returning from exile, he wrote this book. But I want to read from page 390 to make a point about Kaduna Nzeogwu. It is the view of Alexander Madiebo. He says, in one such operation around Ukpi Junction, Major Nzeogwu's party was ambushed by the army. Most of his men were either killed or seriously wounded. According to some reports, Nzeogwu was seriously wounded and died before he could get adequate medical attention. Other reports claimed that when he got to the rear and was recognized by some Nigerian soldiers, they decided to execute him for killing the Saudana of Sokoto. Madiebo continues, Nzeogwu's corpse was later taken to Kaduna for public display and burial. However, it is a fact that Major Nzeogwu was never a Biafran. Can you take note of that? Alexander Madiebo in this book says Nzeogwu was never a Biafran. He continues, he did not join the Biafran army or any military or paramilitary organization throughout his life in Biafra. This is the GOC of the Biafran army talking about Nzeogwu in his book. Madiebo says, rather, Nzeogwu merely used Biafra as a base to continue his fight against what he considered to be a continuation of the July 1966 coup against the federal military government of General Ironsi. He says, thus, the ultimate hero of Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War is Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeogwu, for he was neither on the side of Ojukwu's rebellion nor on the side of Gowon's coup. You want to read more of Madiebo's analysis of the Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War? I recommend this book to you. Order your copy on udarabooks.com or through our WhatsApp numbers shown on the screen. It is the power of history. It is the power of reading. I am also recommending this book by Olusegun Obasanjo on Nzeogwu. It's entitled Nzeogwu. If you read this book, it explains the journey so far. Nzeogwu's death marked the end of a turbulent chapter in Nigerian history, but his legacy continues to spark debates about patriotism, military intervention, and national unity.
So guys, you have heard it all. This was actually what happened. You might want to read the book to get some insight. You might also want to ask ChatGPT to give you insight about what happened during the civilian war, the Biafran war that happened. And then now that IBB has come out to make this revelation that that coup wasn't an Igbo coup, don't forget that it was after that coup that Nzeogwu was imprisoned. And I believe in him being in jail, he must have felt bad, as in that was actually what led to him deciding to fight alongside the Biafran instead of the Nigerian government. Anyway, you have heard it. Honestly, the battle is still on. It is in the hand of the federal government to ensure that this battle comes to an end, because you cannot hold a people on the ground and you keep telling them that they are the cause of the problem. The federal government is supposed to listen to the plights of the Igbos. There is no federal government presence. There is no structure going on. The Buhari's government abandoned the Southeast. The Tinubu's government has abandoned the Southeast. Any government that comes abandons the Southeast. and they don't want the Igbos to talk. If you talk, they call you a terrorist. If you talk, they say you are an IPOB member. If you talk, they will say they will arrest you. All kinds of things. I don't think that's the best way to solve a problem like this. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.